you are live. Do you see me? No.
It says live on my end.
Yeah, it says live on my end too, but I'm not seeing me in Not in Your Head Lesbian.
You're good. You're live. You're live.
I'm live. Okay, we're live. I'm alive and live with Colleen Glen. Hi, Colleen.
Hi.
Colleen, I found out about you when I came across a magazine called Backbone.
Yeah.
And you were telling me a little bit just now about how you distribute it through Etsy and some of the. I know that this is not, how we're going to, sorry. So it can you say for the record what it's like to distribute a radical woman's zine and how you protect your privacy?
I mean, it's been a pretty positive experience so far. Like, we have tons of good reviews on our Etsy shop. Everyone is saying, keep doing what you're doing. We're so happy to see this. It's so nice to have a radical zine. The poetry is touching, everything like that. Like, it's been a really good experience. I haven't had an issue, even when we got super popular, I haven't really had an issue with like doxing or anything like that. So it's been going pretty smooth. Like, for a while I did shut down the shop because I was just getting so many orders and I was in school and I couldn't handle it. But we're back in business now with our newest edition out and everything's going pretty smoothly. I have a couple orders that I need to get out tomorrow probably. Things are picking back up. It's looking good.
Great. So are you doing are you handling the distribution yourself? Or
I do, yeah. I just print them from home and bring them to the post office. Yeah.
And where on Etsy can people get them?
You could type either Backbone or NYCradfems into the search bar in Etsy, and like one of our zines will come up, and you can just click on that and get to our shop through there to see all of the back editions of Backbone.
Is it NYCradfems plural?
Yes.
Okay, so would that be correct in the banner? Let's see. Why is it not showing the banner? There.
No, that's incorrect. It's radfems, like RADFEMS.
FEMS. Okay.
Like short for radical feminists, you know what I mean?
Oh, radical feminists. See? As a lesbian, I immediately think femmes like femme and butch. Okay, so there we go. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, how did it start?
Well, when I joined the group that we would eventually name the NYCradfems, it was pretty small, not much going on really, just a couple people showing up to meetings. And when the woman who was running it had to move away to California, she sort of like passed the reins over to me. And just through relentless networking, I grew the group to be bigger. And my very first goal was to make a zine. And our first zine is more of an educational tool for people who might not know a lot about radical feminism. It has like an introduction to radical feminism that has like some pretty basic principles. And in our later editions, we've moved on to a lot of other topics like women's history, even fiction pieces, poetry, all like really anything created by a radical woman will publish, as long as it's good, you know?
That's great. How many issues are there now?
There's 6 now, as well as my personal zine, which is called Tourist, which is also on the Etsy shop. And pretty soon we'll have t-shirts out again too.
We just saw your black cat.
Yeah, she's climbing around.
What's her name now?
Confetti.
Confetti. Yeah, she's raining down on us. So Backbone has 6 issues, and one was and tour. Did you say tourist?
Yeah, that's my personal zine. Yeah.
And why did you call your personal zine tourist?
Well,
What is the handle?
I sort of spent like my teens and early 20s traveling the country. And I come from a tourist town. It's just sort of like a little bit of irony, I guess. Because I never really felt like a tourist. I was a backpacker. It's just like it's named that because of feeling out of place in a way. You know what I mean?
And where all have you backpacked? All over the United States, the world?
Every like all lower 48, basically.
The lower 48. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Is that where you got your love of the zines?
Well, I mean, I think I started liking zines a little bit before that. I remember walking into a music store and discovering zines there when I was 15 in Providence, Rhode Island. But yeah, when I was traveling, I started collecting a lot more zines, and some of them are pretty beat up. They're in my backpack. I'll actually turn my computer around to show you.
Great. Unfortunately, we don't have Backbone with us because my copy, I think, is in my car, and
this is my collection of zines from over the years.
Can you pull some out? Can we look at some?
Yeah, you asked me about some of my favorites, so I pulled out a couple of my favorites.
Great. And one of the viewers wants to know where they can submit to.
Maybe you could put my email in the banner or in the comments.
Okay, sure, I can. Are you comfortable with that?
Yes, I put my email in the zines and everything. It's my personal email. I just find it easier than having a separate email.
I have your email, so I'll just put it in.
Yeah. And I'm taking submissions for the fall edition. I take submissions all year long. If we don't use it right away, we'll use it later. You know what I mean? And everybody.
And what kind of submissions do you take? Because I know you have some delicious art in there too.
Yeah, we would love some art, actually. We're a little short on art for the next edition. Just everyone needs to keep in mind that it prints black and white is the only thing. But really pretty much anything. We're open to anything as long as it's created by a radical woman.
Yes. And we don't have to define what a woman is because we know.
We already know.
You know what I love to ask people who are into this, what's a woman? Why don't you ask what's a man?
Exactly. That comes up less often for sure.
Right. So submissions are welcome to your email, and I will put that on the thing. But let's see some of the zines that you like.
Okay, so
flavor of what zines can do, because for me, if you don't mind my yakking on a bit, go ahead, show is
this one I picked up really recently. It has a lot of really radical ideas.
Bring it close to the camera, a little closer.
Yeah.
Higher.
This was actually written in the 1960s, I think 1969, and it has a lot of really radical ideas in it for the time.
And what's it called?
Let's see. What is the revolutionary potential of women's liberation? So it talks a lot.
That's pretty direct.
Yeah, so you can imagine what's in it. Also, this one I picked up a long time ago. This one is about non-invasive birth control.
I love the artwork.
Yeah, it's about tracking your cycle so that you don't have to take birth control, basically.
Right. Which is very dangerous to most women.
Exactly. Health. Yeah, it can birth control can have horrible side effects. I'm really I warn women a lot about the horrible side effects of birth control. So this is a great resource. I've had it for a long time. I believe you can still get it on Etsy, although I've had it for a really long time.
Now, what I want to say, Colleen, is that, women in the publishing world, women's information that we need is always hard to find. So it's good to have a zine that is printed by rad women just for women, so that this information gets out there, like how to take care of fertility for straight women, and how to take care of other stuff like I'm older, so it would be great to have some articles on like aging as a woman. which I'm doing rather well, I think. But yeah. So let's see another one.
This one is kind of a funny story. This is an art zine called Monster Parade, and I was in Seattle. I was looking for a bathroom, and I walked into a comic book store, and I started counting my change trying to buy this, and the guy gave it to me for a handful of nickels and dimes. I looked it up later, and this zine it costs over $100, although mine is super damaged because I carried it around in my pack for a long time, so it's not really worth anything to anybody but me. But he gave it to me for basically nothing, and it was such beautiful art in it.
Really cool.
This other one is about death witchcraft. You can get this on Etsy as well. Really loved it. Very informative. And this one comes in a little matchbox. I usually get You magazine as a little freebie when I'm ordering from other places. And this one in particular is about the sacredness of spaces where people gather, which is really resonating with me right now because we're looking for a place for us to have our monthly meetings again.
Right. You're basically up in the Bronx, right? Am I correct in that?
I'm in Brooklyn.
You're in Brooklyn. So are you looking for a place? And let's throw this out to the audience, either who is here right now or who is watching this at a later date. If you know of a place, please contact Colleen or contact me, and I'll contact Colleen. But you can contact Colleen at this particular place where you.
Sorry, my cat. Oh my God, I found my binder with the Backbone editions in it.
Yay!
Got it here.
You see, keep hope alive.
I have some older editions. Let's see. It looks like I just have a copy of the first one, which is not very exciting. It doesn't have any art on the cover. It's very basic. It's like kind of thin. But this is our very first edition that I was saying is a really good informational tool. Like, give it to a friend that you're trying to radicalize, basically, if that's like what you're wanting to do. I think that's the only one I have on hand.
How many pages is that?
Not very many. It's pretty short. It does have
that's how it starts, because when we had Turf Pride here recently, which VF did, there were like 7 women that participated in it. And then when sometimes I'm a poet, so sometimes when I have a poetry reading and there's just 2 or 3 people, it doesn't matter because it's the beginning, and we have to, we cultivate the seeds.
Yeah, you have to start somewhere. Exactly. Yeah, it was a really exciting thing when we got the first edition out, but it's been even more exciting to see how each edition just gets better and better and better and thicker too. We have more submissions, and this last one has so many that it's hard to staple together, really.
So you have fiction, nonfiction,
all sorts of things. Poetry.
Yeah.
I wrote a piece in Backbone 2 about the European witch hunts. I wrote a piece in Backbone 5 about adoption and CPS corruption. I wrote a piece about biology and how the conventional way we look at pregnancy is not really, correct. That's a lot to get into, so I probably won't explain all of that. But Backbone 5 is my favorite edition. I think it has some of our best work and some of our most wonderful art. But
so people, if you're listening, order Backbone 5, to get a good taste of Backbone. I'm going to tell you, which one did I read? The one
I think we got Backbone 6.
Yeah, and it was good. And
it's an excellent zine. It's a good edition. I have a soft spot for number 5, but all of them are really good.
Yeah, including that first little pink one.
Yeah.
I like that it's pink. Why not?
Yeah.
And the fact that it's little and it's original, it's shows the intention, and that's a powerful place to be.
I mean, I remember how passionate we were about that project at the time too, because it was only our immediate, in real life group at that point. And since then we've branched out to women all over the world who contribute. So
can you tell me where in the world these women are coming from?
All over the place. Europe. We in Backbone 6 we have a piece from a woman who grew up a lesbian in Saudi Arabia. So really just everywhere. I actually posted on Tumblr about looking for submissions, and women really came through on Tumblr. It got a lot of traction and a lot of attention. So I'm really grateful for that.
Well, we're really grateful for that too, because radical women need, we need places to put our voices. We all know about Substack, and we all know about all of these things. But what I like about zines is that they can be handed person to person.
Exactly, yeah.
And also the fact that people can take the time and really, it's not Twitter, it's not even this YouTube, which we're limited in how we can communicate. I'm a writer, so for me, writing is also a way of thinking. And
I think that sometimes like it can sink in more when it's a physical zine rather than just like scrolling a blog or something. Like we probably could reach more people if we had a website or a blog or something like that. But I just think that having a physical zine and reading the articles in it, it just sort of sinks in more when you're not just, mindlessly scrolling. You know what I mean?
True. I never thought of that, and I really like it. I like the different, like when I read a book, I'm in a very different head than when I'm reading an article online.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's an article.
Yeah.
Even if it's grabbed my interest and it's well written, it's a very different experience. And I hope and pray, I'm 62, and I hope and pray that those things continue to exist in the decades that come up. And everybody said a couple of decades ago that the printed word is going away, and it's not going away.
No, it's not.
And I'm glad for your zine. What was the second question we said that we would talk about?
Let me see. I have it in my notes. You asked, is there a supportive community of zinesters?
Yes.
So I am so grateful for all of the women who have supported our zine and bought it and read it and passed them around and everything. But we had, I've applied to be part of the feminist zine fest here in New York and been denied because of the name of the zine, a radical feminist zine. You know what I mean? I haven't even tried to be part of the anarchist book fair because I just know their politics and I know that I wouldn't be welcomed there. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say that I'm supported by the wider zine community because we don't share the same politics generally. Even the distros are generally very far left and have all the ideologies that come along with that. And I wouldn't put myself
right. I mean, far American left, i.e. Democrats, or communists. Did you know that the American communists go along with the trans agenda, whereas the British Communist Party came out clearly against it?
I was actually just talking about this in my interview earlier about how communism and trans ideology have a lot in common.
Right.
How it really might be a communist conspiracy. You know what I mean?
But right, it might be, but what we know is that there's certain money coming from Pritzker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So but who knows? Everybody's in bed with everybody else these days, right?
Yeah. It's just so hard to comprehend. I really feel like these experimental surgeries in decades to come will be looked back on in the same way that we look back on lobotomies. You know what I mean? Because we see
that drug that hurt so many. The drug VF is here. VF, do you know that name of the drug?
The one that had all the babies with birth defects and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't recall the name, but I know what you're talking about.
Let me just try to look it up. But one of the things is that you said is that the zine community does not embrace you because you're radical, because of your radical your radical feminist stand. I mean, thalidomide. Thalidomide is the drug. So this is going to be worse than thalidomide. Yeah, because it's going to harm people in a much long. I guess I don't know, but it's the worst thing. It really is.
I mean, we're seeing a wave of detransitioners coming out saying, why did nobody stop me from doing this? I was only 17 years old and nobody questioned me. You know what I mean? Nobody.
Or 12 years old or 13, like Chloe Cole of 14. And
nobody treated my depression. Nobody treated my anxiety. Nobody treated my BPD. They just chopped off my tits. You know what I mean? And
the thing is that women are falling into this as well, because we have been conditioned to be accepting. I'm Indian, and my mom always said, "Aurat ka kaam jhukna hai," which means a woman's work is to like bend and give. Oh my God, no, it's not. It's not. It's
historically that's what it has been. You know what I mean? Historically, that's been our job, is to give ourselves to other people. You know what I mean? And like, we don't have to do that anymore.
Right. So, what I would like to do right now is go back to what this thing about, like the zine community not accepting radical women, and the concept of free speech a little bit. Like, we are supposed to be the free speechiest country in the world, right? This is supposed to be the place where you can say, I hate the president. Nobody's going to come and put you in a gulag or something like that.
Yeah.
And yet, you cannot go and say, excuse me, you're a man, or, excuse me, you're a woman.
I mean, they talk so much about inclusivity and including everyone, yet we are the ones being excluded here. You know what I mean? Like, I can't go set up a table at the Feminist Zine Fest because my politics don't align with the politics of the person running it. You know what I mean? Like, we're the ones being excluded. And I mean, I get it. Not everything is meant to be inclusive to every single person, but I think that's the beauty of a zine, is that we can write whatever we want in it and send it out to whoever we want, and without anybody saying anything,
BF555 says lies, like everything in the U.S. is a scam. I say the USA stands for United Scams of America.
I think like, it's interesting because, like, as Americans, I was also talking about this in my interview earlier with another woman, how, like, as Americans, our people's identity is so wrapped up in the government, if that makes sense. Because, like, our government, when you think about it, is a lot older than even a lot of European governments. But they have a national identity because the country itself is older than their government. You know what I mean? Our government started our country. They
I see.
You understand?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I feel like as Americans, our identity is so wrapped up in the government in a way, because the government is our national identity. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, that's our identity as Americans. You know what I mean?
That's why I think we're politically kind of like toddlers.
Yeah.
Like we either love our government or hate our government. We haven't come to this point of adulthood where you look at your parents and you say, yeah, you're my parents, and you have your own interests, and they're not, I got to watch out for mine, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you were saying, or is
in a way, yeah.
What you're saying, but I like your point. Their governments are, say it again, their governments are newer
Well,
the countries. So they've
like in other countries, they have a national identity separate from their government. But because our national identity started with our government, our national identity is wrapped up in politics and in government. You know what I mean?
And maybe also, as somebody says, in consumerism.
Well, that too, yeah.
Like because our government is very involved in consumerism, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to that second question. Let's see. What was it?
Oh, you wanted to know how we came up with the name.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the woman who came up with the name wants to be named in this interview, but
okay, well, we'll just say one of the contributors.
My good friend came up with the name Backbone for a couple different reasons, like because radical feminism is the backbone of feminism, and because radical feminists are the ones with a backbone who are unafraid to stand up and say the truth.
Yes. The backbone is the spine, right? It's the spine. It's your chutzpah, it's all of that. Not to make this show about me or anything, but I did have a working title for my first collection of poetry, which was a different kind of backbone, a different kind of backbone. And so when did that happen in the second edition or the first? Well, that happened in the first edition of Backbone, right?
Yeah, we were trying to figure out a name for it, and I think she came up with the perfect one, honestly.
Honestly, it's a great name. I love it. And tell me, how do you... we know that if you want to contribute, you go to Colleen.Glen at yahoo.com.
Yeah.
And you submit your art and your writing, and you're now asking for contributions for the upcoming magazine, right?
Yeah, we'll accept submissions anytime, even if we don't have a zine. Like, even if we're not necessarily working on a zine, we'll accept submissions, and they will be used eventually. But I do have a good head start on the fall edition already, so I will be accepting submissions for that anytime. It'll probably come out sometime in October, I'm guessing.
And these submissions, do they go through like a rigorous editing, or are they kind of left more or less? What's your editorial kind of?
Very light editing. Like, I'll edit out some grammar mistakes or whatever I see, but very, very light editing. I try not to change anybody's writing to, any major degree.
Have you who is contributing right now? What would you say is give us like an idea? Is it mostly like younger women, older women, Americans?
I couldn't really say because like the only women that I know personally that are contributing are the women in our, in-person group. Yeah. And the rest are just women who have contributed online. So I couldn't say their ages, their demographic, or anything like that. I'm just not sure. It's all some people don't even want their name published. They just want their like Instagram handle or something like that, So I really couldn't say what the standard demographic is. I'm guessing mostly American women, but not all American.
So do you see like zines in general and Backbone in particular waxing or waning in the future? I mean, do you see it growing, or do you see it, are you struggling?
Backbone is definitely going to grow. We were getting really popular when I did have to cut off the shop because I was just getting overwhelmed while I was going through a pretty rigorous like school schedule. I couldn't keep up with all of the orders, especially once we had t-shirts. Those were extremely popular.
You had t-shirts? t-shirts. Let me
We
see.
have t-shirts, and we're going to have them again soon. So everybody should keep an eye on the shop for those. It's going to have the art from Backbone 6 on it. I've gotten permission from the artist as long as she gets a free t-shirt to use her art. So yeah, I see Backbone continuously growing. I think we're going to get a good following again. We've had a pretty steady influx of orders. I actually have a couple that I need to probably get out tomorrow. It's I see it getting bigger because we had a lot of contributors this time. Like I said, so many that it's hard to staple this edition together. It has so much stuff in it.
I see us all growing together. So I want, that's why I really wanted you guys to, you to come on and talk about this, because we really need a place where we can think, where we can, because somebody said, I don't know who it is don't ask me what I think until, because I haven't had a chance to write about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like when you're writing, you're honestly just in a different headspace, and you actually create things that you don't think about. Like when you're online, you're always in kind of like a responding mode, no matter how you try to stay conscious of it or whatever. And then you're always like glued to the immediate gratification of the likes or the,
like that dopamine rush you get from the attention you get online.
Yeah. And then without realizing it, you're playing to the band.
Yeah.
Is that right? That's a very bad metaphor, but you know what I mean.
I understand.
You're playing for the likes. You're tailoring your words. You're using I hate this language right now, that everybody's using the same words, everybody's just like, it's like, it's like you're hearing the same sentence come out of everybody's mouth. But I would like to ask you if what it is that you're currently looking forward to as fall comes in and the end of the year. And I know you got a magazine, and we're looking for a lot of contributors. So
so we do have like a good head start on Backbone. I just started a new job where like it pays a lot, so I only really have to work 3 days a week at this point. I'm working in harm reduction, so I'm like really excited about this new job. I am hoping, because I've lived in a really interesting life, so I'm hoping to take some time on my days off to start writing. I don't know if you read David Sedaris, his books.
I have.
I kind of like his writing style, how he writes like out of chronological order, just like short stories about his life. I'm thinking about writing.
I want to suggest a book to you right now. Okay, because I don't like David Sedaris.
Oh, really?
I like writing out of chronological order. But there's this West Village woman who wrote a biography. Her name is Tamara Shopsin, and it's okay. The one that I remember is called New York, Delhi, Scranton. And it's like tiny chapters, and her art, and it's zine-ish.
That's the kind of thing I'm trying to do, is to just write sort of like out of order. It doesn't have to be in chronological order, just like short stories about my life traveling, basically.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably need some help from my husband, because like my memory is just, there's a lot of things I don't remember about those years. But
let me give you one more reference. I love Samuel Beckett.
That name sounds familiar to me, but
Samuel Beckett is Mark Twain.
Oh, that's why it sounds familiar.
So Mark Twain wrote his autobiography and called it Biography of Mark Twain. Right?
Yeah.
And he tried 1,000,000 times to write it in 1,000,000 different ways. And by the way, everybody who's on the chat, I'm really into this conversation show, so I'm not looking at the chat, but please feel free to continue to give your comments because they will be addressed in a minute. But so Mark Twain is the character, and Samuel Beckett is the author. And Samuel Beckett tried to write his biography many times, and he couldn't get the right arc and everything. And then he just called his secretary, because he had written so many. He had his secretary. He was a very good writer and a very interesting man. And he said, whatever's coming into my mind today, I'm going to write. And somehow there are 3 volumes of his biography, which are just fascinating to read.
That's interesting. I mean, I like that, like whatever is coming into my head, I'm going to write, because I've tried writing exercises like that are just sort of stream of consciousness, writing whatever's coming into my head at the moment. Right. And that's how I get some of my best work done. That's how I actually, I went back and looked at an old journal entry, and that's what I based my article in Backbone 6 off of, which was about toxic positivity.
I love that article, by the way.
Thank you.
And yet you're working in harm reduction, and I'm a Reiki master, and my favorite 3 words are love, light, and healing. But I'm not trying to say that everything is going to be unicorns and roses and bubblegum flavored vapes, I guess now. But please don't vape because it hurts your lungs. Okay. I quit smoking. I'll shut up. That's not nice. This will be edited in the universe somewhere. What I wanted to say was, what were we talking about?
Mark Twain, and then
is that there are a lot of different ways of writing.
Yeah.
But the best thing that ever happened to me in terms of writing is a writing group.
Yeah. I would love to start a writing group or to join one. I was going to join a writing group at this one coffee shop, but I went in and it was so crowded that I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to focus in here. You know what I mean?
Well, I will tell you what, let's start a radical women's writing group.
I would love that. Yeah.
And I'm willing to really honestly take that on and develop writing. Yes.
I mean, I would love to join a writing group because it would also give me some kind of like accountability to continue writing as well. Like if I had to meet up weekly or monthly with a piece of writing to share, it could really help me be accountable on my writing projects, Yeah,
there is a Women's Writers in Bloom. They have a Facebook page, Women's Writers in Bloom Salon. That I have been a part of since 2012, 2011. And they are, like that is a model we can use, and also I just get together with 1 or 2 writers and we just write together. So it's important we keep each other going. Yes, as we keep each other going. And not only that, we develop together. I have seen writers grow. Like people come in and I love certain poets and I love certain writers, and I'll bring excerpts, and then when you hear these words, then that helps you to grow. So maybe we could do like an offshoot Backbone writing group.
That would be great. That'd be great.
That'd be great. And we just have to keep on going. What do you see like for the future of zines in general in the U.S.? How can we perhaps, bring them to a larger awareness?
I mean, I think that most people would be surprised by how like strongly the zine scene is going. Like there are still old school distros that are shipping out zines. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of zines on Etsy that you can buy. Like within certain communities, zines are still a huge thing. You know what I mean? I think I don't know how we could bring them to a wider audience, to be honest. I think maybe we have already with Backbone, with radical women who maybe didn't know what a zine was or had never ordered a zine, ordered their first zine, probably that was Backbone. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But in certain circles, zines are still going really strong.
Right. And radical women zines should reach younger women as well, and lesbians too. There is a magazine called Lesbian Connect, and it's the oldest international and possibly the oldest national lesbian magazine in the country. So I think that I will write a review of Backbone for that. That
That would be great to get our name out there a little bit. That would be much appreciated.
Yeah, because I think that no matter what you think, you have to be able to speak your mind, and you have to be able to listen to. We have to be able to speak our minds here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, not everything in Backbone has anything to do with radical feminism. You know what I mean? Like, I wrote a piece about Jane Austen. It could really be about like literally anything, as long as it's created by a radical woman.
Right. And somebody was writing about methods of protecting against pregnancy. Somebody else could write about keeping your body healthy. Disabled women. I did see something, I think, from a disabled woman in number 6.
Possibly, yeah. It might have been number 6. Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, we just have to keep each other strong, I think. And I mean, is there something else that you would like to say, or have we, what is it? What would you like to show us some more of your zines that you like?
Let me see what I have here. Let me grab my box of zines and look through and see what else I have.
Just 3 viewers. Okay.
When I was squatting in New Orleans, there was a store called the Iron Rail, and I would buy a lot of zines there. Actually, my husband just bought this one off of a homeless guy who was selling his zines the other day. I haven't read it yet, but it's about his life. This one is Hazel. It's a little bit more like put together than a regular zine. It's like a witchcraft magazine that's really nice. Got it off Etsy. This is a little pamphlet, Emma Goldman.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's always like solid to read, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I think I got off Etsy too. Etsy is a great resource for getting zines of like any kind. Here's a little tiny mini zine on ADHD. I have a ton. I have a ton of zines all about different things. I have a Riot Girl zine. I have like First Aid.
I saw a great zine that was done by somebody in the gender critical movement. Why are so many girls wanting to be boys?
Oh yeah, Reality Girl. Yeah, actually, for a while, I was sending out a free copy of Reality Girl with every copy of Backbone. I have it saved in my files. Yeah, we partnered for a little bit.
So can we just plug her a minute? Reality Girl.
Yeah. Let me just make sure we have her right. Let me look her up on Instagram. Yeah, her artwork is great. She does stickers. Yeah, it's reality_girl_zine.
Girl is just GIRL.
Yep.
And zine, right?
Yep.
Reality_girl_zine. And this is on Instagram?
Yeah, that's her Instagram handle. I think that's her handle for pretty much everything.
Okay.
Yeah, her zine is great. It's very like straight to the point. It has some great, graphics in it. And for a while I do send them out as like little freebies once in a while if like an order's late or something.
That's great. That's great. There's also a woman that does radical cartoons that was on VF55 XS's channel. She's got a YouTube channel, and her name is, you can find her at radicalcartoons.com, I believe. Let me just check that. Radicalcartoons.com. Yes.
Okay.
And you should check her out. She's got some great cartoons. Let me tell you.
Maybe she'd be interested in like doing something for Backbone if I contact her.
I think so. Now here comes a question that I have to ask you. I'm gonna just put reality. I'm gonna what was it called? Radicalcartoons.com. I'm gonna put that there too. I'll put all of this in the description of this video as well.
Yeah, we do also have an Instagram for Backbone that people could go follow. That's just Backbone_zine. My friend Jen runs that for me.
Oh, that's great. What's it called?
Backbone_zine. That's our Instagram handle.
Okay, I will put that on next. And I'm going to ask you that again in a minute. I really admire what you're doing, and I want to say thank you. You know, it's very hot in here. If my face looks very red, it's because it's hot. But fall is coming up, and I hope that, you know, we all help you in promoting and creating and giving long life to this zine. Can I ask you about payment? Do people who contribute pay, or do they get a contributor's copy?
Everyone who contributes gets a free copy of the zine. Technically, we're not really making any money off of the zine.
Right.
I haven't really broken even yet from all of the paper and ink and stuff from the zine, but also our group does have expenses as far as keeping our meetup group private, which apparently I didn't realize it, but I've been paying for that for the past 2 years. So anything extra that we make would go towards that. So because I've spent over $600 on that in the past 2 years without even realizing it, and I just found out. So if we made extra money from the zine, it would go towards maintaining the group's privacy, basically.
Very good, very good. But the people who contribute to the magazine get a copy of the issue that they're contributing in, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that that's very legit in the publishing world, because that happens very often. Your Instagram handle is, again, Backbone_zine. Very simple, but I'll put it up anyway. Zine. Yeah. And you know, I just really want to thank you for your time, and just want to ask you if there's anything else that you want to say, or
I don't think so. Just I appreciate being here. I really appreciate all of our contributors and everyone who's made it possible to get Backbone off the grounds. I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself. You know what I mean? It's a group effort. Like, really, all I do is write for them and print them. You know what I mean? It's a huge group effort from women all over the world, and I'm really, really grateful to the women who have been just excited about this project as I am, and who have made it possible to get it off the ground and get it going.
And now, hopefully, you know, we can grow that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colleen.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was nice talking to you.
Coming on. I could talk to you for an hour more, I'm sure, but I know you had another interview. Do you want to put that up? Do you want to say where that was?
I'll be posting clips of that probably on the Backbone Instagram at some point. So yeah, it'll be up at some point.
So everybody follow that Backbone Instagram, and thank you so much. We're gonna say goodbye. Goodbye.
Right. Yeah, it was nice talking to you. Thank you.
It was great talking to you. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.